And now we are gonna ask publisher Michael Voss to come and share his insights about Standford-Social-Innovation-Review and social innovation. Please give warm hands to Mr. Michael Voss.
Thank you all very much. My name is Michael Voss, and I'm the publisher of Stanford Social Innovation Review. My colleague, Eric Nee, our managing editor, and I would like to join Executive Vice President Lee and Professor Shun in welcoming you to this gathering, which, among other things, celebrates the launch of the Korean edition of SSIR. Many of you may already be familiar with SSIR, but for those of you who aren't, I'd like to spend the next 10 minutes or so telling you about our history, our growth, and our aspirations for the future. A future that recognizes the fact that social innovation is a global phenomenon, with new insights and new solutions forming in different parts of the world each day. As an aside, for those of you who are already well familiar with SSIR, you can just ignore me for the next 10 minutes. SSIR recently celebrated its 15th anniversary this past spring. We were originally founded at the Graduate School of Business at Stanford. At that time, the worlds of social change and business were starting to blur, with more and more for-profit businesses realizing the importance of corporate social responsibility and a rapid growth in the number and types of social enterprises. At that time, we identified social innovation as the process of inventing, securing support for, and implementing novel solutions to social needs and problems. A working definition that still holds up fairly well today. But equally important, in that first editor's letter, we discussed the importance of dissolving boundaries. Boundaries between nonprofits and foundations, between social entrepreneurs and traditional philanthropists, between the worlds of academic theory and the practice of social change, and I would argue more and more the boundaries between regions of the world, allowing for greater exchange and sharing of successful strategies and ideas. That initial belief evolved over time into the SSIR mission to advance, educate, and inspire the field of social innovation by seeking out, cultivating, and disseminating the best in research and practice-based knowledge. While we do operate like any for-profit magazine entity, relying on our earned revenue as our main source of operating income, it's this mission of sharing the best of social innovation and working to grow the social innovation sector that is our primary focus. While Eric will go into greater detail about SSIR's editorial approach in his remarks today, these 4 items are the underpinning of this approach. We recognize that the worlds of academia and practice are interrelated, with both sides learning from one another's work. We believe that sharing successes and failures expands the knowledge base of the sector, leading to even greater insights. We commit to an ethos of peer-to-peer learning for an audience that is actively engaged in social innovation. And most of all, we see these efforts as global in nature and impact. We recognize the importance of partnering with an institution like Hanyang University for many of the same reasons we celebrate our connection to Stanford. Long before SSIR, going back to its founding over 125 years ago, Stanford had a commitment to applied research and being involved in the world. It also had a commitment to improving the world, as shown by this quote from the university's charter, to promote the public welfare by exercising an influence on behalf of humanity and civilization. Equally important as our connection to Stanford is our connection to the Stanford Center on Philanthropy and Civil Society, or Stanford PACS. In 2010, SSIR became part of Stanford PACS. While the majority of the work of Stanford PACS is on building the knowledge base of research on philanthropy and civil society and cultivating the pipeline of current and future scholars in this space, PACS is also committed to the dissemination of this research, which is core to SSIR's mission. And while we function independently of one another, we do benefit strongly from this special relationship. In addition to our place at Stanford, our place in Silicon Valley plays a big part in shaping SSIR. Like Hanyang, Stanford has a reputation for educating those who become the leaders of established and emerging companies. While Stanford University has played a crucial role in creating and sustaining Silicon Valley and bringing technological innovation to the world, SSIR has played an equally crucial role in exploring, promoting, and professionalizing social innovation in the world. I occasionally joke that there's a success model for certain thought leader magazines start with the name of a prestigious US university, insert editorial focus area, add the word review, and voila. But in all seriousness, there are actually very few of these university-created publications capable of attracting and growing a non-university audience. And the fact that SSIR has come to be recognized alongside these others in just 15 years is truly remarkable. This further underscores how important a thing we are witnessing here at Hanyak today. While there are many milestones in our brief history of which I'm proud, it is SSIR's reputation for introducing new ideas and approaches to social innovation, ideas like collective impact and the application of design thinking to social change, of which I am most proud. Furthermore, not being afraid to challenge popular wisdom on these ideas is also a hallmark of SSIR. In the universe of media that discuss the work of social change, one of the things that distinguishes SSIR is the fact that we are written for and by a cross-sector audience. We do not simply write about philanthropy or nonprofits, but we address the wide spectrum of players involved in social change, because we recognize that new ideas can come from an array of sources, and that real change requires action from all sides. Certainly nonprofits, foundations, and philanthropists, but more and more businesses and social enterprises, and that this work relies on insights and research from academics and a commitment from governments and policymakers. This approach is reflected in the cross-sector nature of the SSIR audience, who are unified by the simple fact that regardless of the type of organization with whom they are affiliated, they are almost uniformly the leaders in those organizations, with the authority and influence to drive action. And as I've already said several times, this audience is growing more and more global every day as a result of our growth in the digital space. Today, SSIR.org attracts approximately 220,000 unique users every month, but perhaps, not surprisingly for this audience, about 45% of those users are from outside the United States, demonstrating that this work in which we are involved is global in scope and appeal. I mentioned at the beginning of my remarks that I would tell you about SSIR's future, but I suspect by now most of you have guessed where Eric and I see the future of SSIR's growth and success. Today we launch our second dedicated local language edition, building on the learning from our edition in China. And soon we plan to launch pan-regional Arabic language and Spanish language editions, as well as a Portuguese language edition based in Brazil. And while these editions will start out translating content from the English language edition, it's our goal to quickly start producing original local content for these editions. Content that can not only be shared in the US edition, but that can weave together across editions, creating a global web of social innovation with the most pertinent learnings shared from region to region. Of course, as far more famous an orator than I once said, the future is an undiscovered country. But whatever that future may bring, it is my belief that we will get there together. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite my colleague Eric